students are gone, but you are still here. And we know how you feel because you are done. But you have so much work to do to get ready for tomorrow. Good afternoon, podcast listeners everywhere. Welcome to After the Bell, a Stunt Brothers production. A podcast that gets inside the life of a teacher and provides a wellness guide for being prepared to take on this most challenging of professions. I'm Martin Stuvel.
And I'm Roy Hunt. And we share your pain, having taught a combined 70 years. The guarantee of this podcast is to make you laugh, make you think, and give you at least one little nugget that you can use in the classroom. So get out your marking, organize your supplies, or just pour yourself a coffee.
I want something stronger.
And listen, engage, and interact with After the Bell, a podcast for you, the hard-working, dedicated teacher who wants free lesson plans, free advice, and a free meal.
Okay, Roy, but I'm not paying for anything more than McDonald's. Hey, Roy, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
This would be summer season session 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's alliteration, I guess.
I guess so, an alliteration. But we're
done.
out here in the beautiful sunshine down
are.
at Shipbuilders Square here in North Vancouver.
Early July, and we're just surrounded by joyful people enjoying it's a Sunday. You'll hear this episode tomorrow on Monday, and they look like they're all full into summer.
They are. And you know what I love about this? We spend a long time in the anticipation of nice, warm
We do.
weather.
In Vancouver, we wait all year for this.
We wait all year. We don't have the snowstorms and the piling of snow that other people do in the other parts of
Just
Canada.
the atmospheric rivers.
That we have atmospheric rivers. We have rain.
Yes.
And we have more rain.
Yeah.
And more rain.
Yeah.
And there's times when it's just gray and rainy and you go, oh my gosh. But if you don't put your rain gear on, then you're trapped in your house.
You are.
But there's this great anticipation for summer.
Yeah.
And in all the years that I've been here in North Vancouver, summer has never disappointed.
No, it is not. And that's why we've come down to the quay here at the Shipyard area, and we're having a sort of a live broadcast. You can hear the hum of the working buildings. It's a working port as well. Mm-hmm. And it's just the perfect temperature here. We're not feeling the heat of some other parts of the world right now. It's just all is good here.
Yes, in Ontario right now, they have a heat dome.
Yeah, you visited your mom there for a bit, right? Last week.
I visited family last week.
Nice, yeah.
And it's nice to be back here where it's not as humid and the temperatures are just a little cooler. So I'm enjoying that very much.
And what I find, like as I said, I look around and there's just joy on people's faces down here. Like
smiles.
Smiling, right?
Even the dogs are smiling.
Even the dogs have a big smile. They know a good thing.
They're smiling, the tails are wagging, right? Yes.
Yeah.
They're happy to be out.
Yeah. And we look across to Vancouver. We have it's called the Sea Bus that takes people across, which is like a little bus system on the water that started in the 70s. And it's just a neat part of the shipyards here and the beauty of where we live. And moments like this, you just go, wow. You know, I've traveled many places in the world, but we are really lucky to live here.
We are. We're very fortunate.
Yeah.
And in that being fortunate and we're taking stock of all the things that become available because summer is here.
Summer is here.
Right? Summer is here. And you just want to, I guess in this podcast, we want to get people to think about getting the most out of their summer.
Yeah. And just remember, these are our summer sessions. These are short and snappy little sessions. We're going to try not to mention the T word, right?
T.
Right? We don't know what that is now.
Okay. I've forgotten already.
Perfect. You know, if you say it or something connected, well, we have coffee. We don't have any shots here. You might have to take a swig of your coffee, I guess.
All right. Okay.
You know, we're out in public, so we're following the rules. We don't have any.
That's right.
The drinking game other than coffee.
All right.
But we're going to avoid the T word.
Yep.
We're going to avoid all those things, and we're in summer mode now.
Yes.
And we're celebrating all those things that make summer just, even as a child, it was endless and wonderful and something you look forward to all year. I've never lost that.
Yep.
Right?
I look forward to it so much, and I do. I feel giddy I remember watching, it was The Tonight Show.
Yes.
Jimmy Fallon, and talking about why everybody gets excited about.
I thought you were going to go right back. I remember watching The Tonight Show. Johnny Carson.
No. But he says why people get excited about summer, and that's where grown men can dress like children, like shorts and a t-shirt, and then women who are dress stylishly for the summer. So men dress down.
It's true.
And women dress up.
I was just at this little do the other day, and I said to my wife, well, I'm just wearing my t-shirt and shorts, and do you think this is okay? She was like, yeah, no. She said exactly what you said. Women like to take this chance to, I think, dress up.
Yeah.
Where men just get to go, this is what I'm wearing, it's summertime. So she was envious, and she said, just enjoy it.
There you go. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to use this opportunity in this episode to talk about how to get the most out of summer.
Oh, sounds good.
And I have...
Because we want people to get the most out of this time. This is recharge time, right?
And in getting the most out of the summer, there's a few things. So first of all, when I lived in Japan, what I loved about the Japanese people is they celebrated every season, and they connected with every fruit, every vegetable, every seasonal thing that came, and they celebrated that. So every season was a celebration.
Oh,
and
lovely.
From a mushroom that grew in the forest called the matsutake mushroom, and they would have little hibachis and they would grow them, to cherry blossom season where you would sit under a cherry blossom tree with a blanket and all kinds of food, and you would drink and sing karaoke, to watermelon, where I remember gifting someone a watermelon was like the greatest thing you could do. And a watermelon at that time when I was in Japan, it was like $100 for a watermelon.
Wow.
And then now, because watermelons don't fit in your fridge when they're round, and Japanese fridges
are small. Right.
So they have square watermelons that they grow in Japan that fit right in the fridge.
And how do they do this? Do they
grow them in
glass
blocks.
I see. Yes. Okay.
And so pretty ingenious.
It is,
because even in our fridges here in North America, I have a hard time fitting a watermelon.
Yeah, no, usually you want to get it eaten, right?
Okay.
But when you talk about that, it does remind me of Victor Alderton coming on and forest bathing and being connected to nature. And I think recognizing the seasons and celebrating them, like you say they do in Japan, is so important.
Yes.
To be ready for each season as it comes, and it makes you love summer even more.
It
right?
connects you.
It does.
I think you're right in saying that it connects you to nature. And when you have those celebrations of those things that come from nature, then that's magical.
Yeah, so let's celebrate. What are those things that we do celebrate about summer?
Okay. Well, I said watermelon.
Yeah.
So what about watermelon?
And are the ones in Japan seedless or?
Well, they are seedless.
Because they are now, but I remember as a kid they weren't seedless.
No.
Right? And you would use them to,
you would either swallow the pits,
or
you would be outside and you'd spit them.
Right?
You would. I don't know. I know I'm not the only one who do that, but I had a younger brother, so I'm pretty sure we had a watermelon seed fight where we would spit them at each other.
Oh, that was classic.
And I remember in small county fairs that were around us in my childhood that they even had watermelon seed spitting contests. So there you go.
Yeah, and watermelon makes me think of the fresh fruit we get this time of year. I have some blueberries and raspberries in my garden, but you get into the valley here in BC, up near Chilliwack and those places, and you just get peaches, stuff from the Okanagan.
Yes.
And you put it with some cream, and that is gold,
so
right?
So that's the other thing, like I guess they call the stone fruit, so cherries and peaches, apricots from the Okanagan. Unbelievable. And I didn't really know how amazing they were until I moved here to BC. Yeah. And then so we look forward to going to the Okanagan to visit friends, and we always stop and we load up on peaches and apricots and those cherries.
And that triggers a memory that actually goes far away from the Okanagan for me, but it's to do with peaches. I remember with my family, we were in Cambridge, England, visiting my mom's family. My dad was there. And we went to this little shop and had some peaches there. I don't know where they were from. Probably not the Okanagan. they were the best peaches I've ever tasted in my life. And I was probably 9 then. But even my dad would talk years later, like just recently before he passed, he talked about, remember those peaches we had? Like they stood out in his mind as just being that moment. And there was a moment in the British summer, right? To enjoy those tastes that do last with you forever.
Yep. Picking strawberries. I know a lot of people, we get strawberries early in the year and they come from California. And you know, I appreciate those strawberries.
They're never the same. They're big. They're huge.
Not the
they're
same.
Massive. They don't have the same.
They get picked
flavor.
early because they have to be
Not the
transported.
same flavor, right?
But we go to a place out near Ladner, Ladner, BC, and it is called Westham Island, and it's a strawberry farm. It's a you pick it. And what I love when I see that at this time of year, families just out in the fields as you pick. They've got, you know, their kids out there picking, and you know, like 2 strawberries go in the box and 2 strawberries go in your mouth.
Right? getting them off. Right? Yeah. I think that's exactly what happens. So I don't, you know, what you have to be weighed before and after.
Yes, I think I said we'd like to weigh your strawberries and we'd like to weigh your
Each
kids.
person, I think so. They just ate 5 buckets worth of strawberries.
Yes.
Yeah. But
And
it's families, right? And it's just all that joy and getting people off their devices, outside. Barbecues do that too, right?
Yes.
I think the summer barbecues we like to have on our decks, in our parks, right?
Summer barbecues in the park or on the decks, deck parties for sure. And in fact, there's a good friend of mine, a colleague that was at Ridgeway Elementary School, and she starts off her school year with a picture of the cocktail of choice on.
Sorry, you said teacher. Take a shot.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay,
there you go.
the coffee's
Drink your
getting
coffee.
cold.
Okay.
But because I'm not going to use her name.
Yeah, no.
But on the rail of the deck,
Yes.
she would have the cocktail of choice.
Nice.
And that was, and she would send that out on all social media platforms and saying, it's the beginning of summer.
Wonderful.
And
Well,
I
it's
love
her way to
looking
kick it
forward
off.
to that picture. And it's always different.
And you know at that moment when your day is ended in a career I will not mention, but the length of summer, it seems like it will be endless. Like just September is so far away at that moment. That's the best moment because it's so far away. It's like a Friday on the weekend, right? Sunday seems so far away until Saturday night.
Right. And then we have sticking with fruit. Well, blueberry picking comes up, so I love blueberries. One of my favorite.
Blueberries and ice cream.
Blueberries and ice cream.
I just think just so fresh, so refreshing.
And then we have camping.
That is summer for me, right?
Yeah.
Camping with the family.
And we've got a lot of experiences with our families together camping.
I mean, decades ago, I don't know when it was. That's where the name Stunt Family was kind of created.
The Stunt Family,
right? That's
yes.
where we got the idea of Stubble and Hunt and made it Stunt. Yep. Like, how old was Camille then?
Maybe 8 or 9.
Okay, yeah, at the most, right?
Yeah.
I think my kids were 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Right. So
well, then
I'd say it's 20 years ago.
Okay.
I'd say it's 20 years ago, 2 decades ago that this genesis of an idea began.
Yes.
So we go way back with the stunt.
And in camping, what we have here is because the snow is off the mountains now. So then in that camping, you can go camping as a family. You could go camping, backcountry camping, which I love to do, up towards Whistler, BC.
Yeah.
There's
Elfin Lakes, right?
Elfin Lakes. There's a glacier, Garibaldi Lake, where you go on these switchbacks and then you camp out
that lake,
facing a glacier.
Do you swim in the lake?
I certainly did.
So I hiked up there with Charlene, and she went in. That's too cold for me, but she loves the cold plunge, right? Yeah. And then many hikes. It's hiking to me. That's when I really am at my best. I just love hiking in our North Shore mountains and up towards the Squamish Valley. Absolutely fantastic.
And another big thing here on the North Shore, because we have space in North Vancouver, is we also have concerts, outdoor concerts, which they have them here at
right here at the Shipyards.
Square.
They often every Friday night, right?
Yep.
They have these wonderful concerts, and then they have all the food trucks that come.
And the food trucks.
And it is just bustling and just full of joy and happiness.
Deer Lake in in Burnaby.
Yes.
They have a great outdoor
Great program,
concert
don't they? Yeah.
venue. I know they have the Blues Festival coming up. And September, I'm very excited. I'm going to see Neil Young in an outdoor concert.
And I think you're going to get a good show. So he just played Glastonbury. And, he's an ornery person
Yes.
often. And usually he plays what he wants to play. And he still does. And if he wants to do a 15-minute guitar solo, he'll do it. But he played all his big songs, and I saw a few clips. He was incredible. He's 80 years old now, so I think you're in for a treat.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. And then next, the farmers markets. Farmers markets and little fairs in some of the small communities. And that's where they're, pies and tarts and cakes and cookies and craft beer.
Craft beer,
and,
right? Made by local breweries around here.
And local distilleries bring things. And so it's, again, a great celebration time.
Yeah. Hot time summer in the city, right?
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
And I hope everyone else is really making the best of their summer, right? Can partake in these and share some of your things and your ideas.
We'd love to hear
right?
what are the things you like to do.
What are your things, right? Yes.
And for me, I think the ultimate summer thing to do is to go for ice cream. Right?
Yeah.
And I have, as a childhood memory, going out for ice cream with my mom and dad when we were living in Ontario, and there's this place close to St. Thomas, Ontario, between a beautiful place called Port Stanley, which is right on Lake Erie, and we would go to Shaw's Ice Cream, and they've been around for years.
Yeah.
They were around before I was born, kind of thing, and I would always look forward. So those are the fond childhood memories, and I remember taking my children out for ice cream. And when I was in St. Thomas, I took my 82-year-old mother out for ice cream, and we were eating the ice cream, and we just thought about all those summers as a family.
Wonderful
that we
memories
spent.
for her to revisit, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I hear music playing.
Yes.
And I say we say goodbye to our listeners. We go grab an ice cream and we go have a listen and
I like that idea.
Enjoy the rest of this summer day. And I hope everybody else does too.
Yeah, we did a pretty good job. I only had to drink once.
I know. That was good.
Okay.
We are getting there. Right?
Okay.
So we wish everyone the best. And
have a fantastic summer. And drain that bucket for every last drop.
Every last drop. Enjoy it.
Right.
Do what you need to do to unwind and relax. And we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
This podcast is organic, taking shape with each episode. Building resiliency for teachers everywhere.
That sounds great.
And our website is stuntbrothers.ca.
That's stuntbrothers.ca.
We will chat again.
After the bell.